The thing is still sitting there spinning. Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Life on the Flip Side. It's my birthday, and I'll stream if I want to. Yes, absolutely. I'm so glad all of you came out to celebrate with me. And of course, this wouldn't be the flip side if it wasn't for the greatest co host ever. My co host, who is the mostest, Crafty Keela. How are you, Crafty?
Hello, I'm good. I'm getting over a chest infection, but I'm good most of the time. Good thing is I've gotten like plenty of sleep, like so much sleep this week. I won't have to sleep for the rest of the year, I think.
Well, there you go. So you're good. You're raring and good to go.
Ish.
Exactly. And of course, I have two very good friends with us on the show tonight. Really glad he could make it. Our winner from Spot the Goat last week, Mr. John Rapp. How are you, sir?
G'day, everybody. I'm really good. Happy birthday, Jeff.
Well, thank you very much, sir. Glad you could be here.
Hey, John.
So I saw in the chat somebody was doing some maths there in Roman numerals and put you at 50. So we'll have to go with that because somebody else probably did the other maths wrong. Hey.
Yeah, probably. I'm pretty sure I'm 60. I mean, I know we started the stream a minute late, but that's only because I'm not used to my new walker. It took a while to get to the start. So, but I made it. We're live. And of course, I have to thank my bestest friend, Taddy Bogle, for coming out to join the party. How are you, Taddy, my boy?
Happy birthday, Squire. Oh, fuck, this is going to be brilliant, man. Fucking many happy returns and all the rest of that fucking nonsense, man. Fucking brilliant to be on here, sir. Brilliant to be on here. And by the way, I'm just going to sit here quietly in the back. I'm determined. I'm going to find this fucking goat. I'm going to check behind those roses in a minute. I'll let you know as soon as I see it, folks, okay?
No, you're not allowed to do that. Don't do that. You're not supposed to tell them.
You can't. You can keep a secret. Shh.
Right. And just to say, Reason has worked very, very hard on that set. So find the goat. Not Tusk. Tusk's not allowed to find the goat just because he's Tusk. Etty, go find the goat just to piss off Tusk.
Well, so he's worked real hard, right? So I shouldn't be pissing behind that fucking 60 then, no? Well, shit.
Oh, no, that's fine. That's
Sorry.
fine. Monkey got there before you, but okay.
Cool. That's all right.
And speaking of Tusk, I have to say, Tusk, my boy, I've been watching your cooking videos, and they are awesome. I want more cooking videos from Tusk. They are awesome.
I want more cycling videos. I have no need for goats. Everyone has need of a goat. Don't even lie, Tusk.
That's right, Tusk. I am old as fuck. And getting older.
He's older than me, and that's fucking saying something, man. Jesus.
Yeah, well, I may be older than you, but I don't look it.
That is true.
Stevie B is asking, is the goat and camel? Here's the thing. I want to remind people of the rules. You don't spot the goat, or you don't say that you've spot the goat until the intro plays, until the intro for Spot the Goat plays. Otherwise, it does not count. Does not count.
Absolutely.
Don't be giving it away. Do not be giving it away.
Well, this is it, folks. I've hit that milestone. I'm at 60. That means 5 years to retirement. And then hopefully I'll be full-time on YouTube. So, woohoo! I'm looking forward to it. I'm working hard. So,
we'll not get rid of you.
Hmm?
We'll not be getting rid of you.
This week,
I'm 50. I'm 58, so we'll be kept. Sorry.
You're not far behind me.
I'll catch you up in a couple of years.
Well, there you go. But Pain of Progress has picked up 2 more subscribers this week, so we're at 402. So we're on our way to 500 and the first 500 live stream for that. So hoping I can get there in the next week or so.
That'd be awesome.
That would be sweet, awesome. Man. Deserved awesome. As well, man. Deserved as well. Yeah. So I mean, the last one there in Watches, man, fantastic. Thoroughly enjoyed.
Yeah, it's quite an interesting story, wasn't it? A lot of people
very
don't
interesting story. Very
a lot of
interesting
people
story.
don't realize.
Yeah, it's
know?
something you never think about, really. We just
Well,
take it for granted.
exactly. All of these technologies that we take for granted is just being everyday part of life, and you don't think about where they came from and how they came to be. That's why I
That's
made
it.
that show. So,
But then again, not all of us can remember when the Romans were in power. But
yeah, we know they were because we
oh,
live
aye,
with their
well,
legacy.
well, you're that old. You can fucking tell us, mate.
Tatty was hiding under a rock when the Romans came.
Well,
Oh,
that's
That's why
a
he
matter-
hasn't evolved.
That's
they
why
would-
he's
they
still
would have
running
taken my
about
whiskey,
town in
man.
a toga. That's why
would
you're
have
still running about town in a toga, right?
Yeah.
So, anything exciting
Well, I've got a-
happening with you folks? Crafty, you
Um,
got anything exciting to talk about?
The only I said to you before live, I'll tell people how sick I was, okay? And you have to understand, I have to be sick to want to clean. But I was so sick this week. I was still going to work. I was still doing my 10-hour shifts. Because I'm on 10-hour shifts for the next month or so. But I was coming home and I was cleaning the house or the apartment, and I was so sick that I actually cleaned my deep fat fryer and stuff. Like I renewed the oil about 3 times. That's how sick I was. Like, so that's about the height of excitement for me.
Okay.
Why does getting sick make you want to clean?
I don't know, because I wouldn't be in my right mind if I wanted to. Like, I don't have a dirty house. I can never have. I have a lived-in house, but I don't have a dirty house. I can't live in a dirty house. But like proper knee freak clean when I get sick. I don't know why.
Yeah, we
I
all
blame
have our-
Tony. PhD Tony is there in the chat. I blame Tony.
Oh, hello, Tony. Thanks for stopping by.
But other than that, and sleep, I've gotten a lot of sleep, like ridiculous amounts of sleep, and I don't sleep that much. I sleep on average between 3 and 5 hours a day, at max.
Yeah, that's
so
it's about the same for me. But they say that when you get older, you sleep less because you need less.
well, we don't really need as much sleep. I know the doctors in the house are gonna fucking go mental at me for saying that, but you need more rest than you do sleep. So when you learn how to meditate and just like relax your muscles, that's actually better for you. I seen something there. Dorian B Gaming and Media says, clean a deep fat fryer. I just buy a new one. Yes. Usually, probably. No. Yeah, it's not good. It's not good. When you're that sick that you actually want to clean, that's when it gets dangerous, lads.
That's why my sweetie and I went out and bought an air fryer, so that we don't have to deal with that shit.
I have one somewhere.
They're awesome,
I don't know. I just default. I don't know about you lads. I default back to what I know. So I have a steamer and I have one of the slow cookers, but I still default back to the hob. I still default back to the deep fat fryer. I still default back to like the oven. I can't get my head around them. I don't like them. I don't know.
They're great. Air fryers are awesome. They're so easy to maintain. They do the same job.
Yeah, but they don't taste the same.
Oh, I don't find a difference really, unless you're one of those people who really pays attention to curing the oil and keeping it for just one purpose. Then I could see it. But
you know what way I do it. No.
Yeah. Well, it's the same thing with an air fryer. I put whatever I want to cook in there.
You can, but it doesn't taste the same. Anyway, all right. Let's get off this topic.
Okay. All right. What about you, Teddy? Do you deep fry or do you use air fryers, or are you an oven kind of guy?
Taddy cook.
I'm for Glasgow.
Okay.
If it's no deep fried,
So-
it's no food.
So your cooking technique is 3-2-3-1-1-2-1 for one pizza.
Oh, a deep fried
Oh,
pizza. That's
by
what
the
I'm
way-
having for tea tonight.
By the way,
Oh, no.
today is my birthday, so the law is all pizza must have pineapple.
Oh
I'm
God.
happy with that.
No.
I'm happy with
I'm
that.
okay with that.
I'm out. Bye.
No,
I don't
jeez.
mind a good Hawaiian pizza.
Yeah. I knew that would
Yes.
trigger Crafty. She hates pineapple on pizza. I know you do, dear. Oh, she's left. Oh, she's back.
Let that be a lesson to you. I can leave. I can leave.
Bugger, you didn't lock the door.
I have the key, biatch.
There's a
Pizza's
song in
one of
there
those
somewhere.
foods where you can have all of the 5 basic food groups in one meal. Red,
Well,
yellow,
yeah.
blue, or sorry, red, yellow, green, white, and brown.
I agree. I mean, pizza
Don't tell
is
Tusk
something
that.
can be made to suit everyone's tastes. Not everybody likes pineapple on pizza, but for those who do, cool. I'm with you.
Do you know what? Do you know what? Do you
That's
know
how
what?
you like your pizza.
I think I'd actually try, and I'm gonna say try. I think I'd try Tusk's lobster pizza before I touch pineapple.
Yeah, okay. I can agree with that, but get ready to be chewing on some rubber bullets.
Right, just to clarify, you did say Tusk's lobster pizza there, yeah? It was
Yes.
pizza you said. Yep. Cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
He thinks that the pizza is so shitty that if he just puts lobster on everything, that'll be fine.
It was just when it came to the rubber bullets, I was thinking, hold on, did I mishear that?
You got to make sure you keep an eye on him over at Barman's, though, because I have a feeling he's going to try and pass off a focaccia bread with tomato sauce and some sausage as a pizza.
I have no idea what he's going to try to pass off as food, but when it comes to the pizza bake-off, I'll be choosing the tops.
Ah, okay. So there you
And
go.
whoever and I'll be judging. So whoever makes the best pizza, which is not going to be Tusk because he can't make pizza. That's why he doesn't like it. I'm not biased. I'm not a biased judge at all.
It just says if you use oil in a fryer more than once, you should be sent to a gulag for re-education.
Well, I'm going to fry his mind now, right? So what I do with my deep fry fryer, I put everything from chips right through to what is it? Onion rings, because you have to do onion. Like I prefer onion rings on the hob, but yeah, I would put onion rings into the deep fry fryer. I put calamari if I really want calamari. They go into the fire. There you go. Yeah, you can't judge you eat Frey Bento's pies. Frey Bento's pies are amazing. They're better than your pies. I'm willing to bet. I tell you what, right? What I'll do, Tusk, what I'll do. We'll go out. We'll get a Frey Bento's pie, and you have to make one better than that too. Okay? Okay. So that's 2 tasks. 2 tasks for you. 1, make a pizza better than Barman, and 2, make a pie better than Frey Bento's. Good luck.
The two trials of Tusk.
You have a challenge there, Tusk. Can you pull it out of the bag?
Frey Bento's is amazing. Don't even, Tusk. Don't even. No winding that fucker up.
That's all right, Tusk. Everybody loves you. You're a great guy.
We love you, Tusk. We're going to send Etty into a laughing fit.
That's what I'm hoping for.
Gotta love the giggle fits.
Oh, God.
Kate and Sydney. Oh, right, yeah. Okay. I was wondering. The steak and kidney pie instead of Kate and Sydney. Because if it was Kate and Sydney pie, would be in serious trouble. We're not even going to get into that discussion again.
I like steak and kidney pie. It's one of my favorite pub foods.
In Sydney, you have dog's eye with dead horse. That's a pie with sauce.
Ooh.
I'd have some of that. That sounds good, man. Is it dog's eye with dead horse?
Yeah,
I like it.
it's Aussie slang.
I like it.
You want real sacrilege? Here in Vietnam, the only way you're ever going to get a haggis is from a can.
that's bad,
Oh
man.
wow! Hang on. Essie
What?
just said my friend's baby was born today, so I found your birthday twin.
Oh, well, isn't that special?
Congratulations to your friend.
Yes, very much so.
Theo. That's
Did
a
you win the
well-known
list?
fact. That is a well-known fact. PhD Tony did walk with the dinosaurs. We know that. We know this.
Absolutely. So,
The big question is Tony older or younger than you? In which case, did you walk with the dinosaurs?
He was a
I had
dinosaur.
a dinosaur as a pet when I was young.
If you could own a dinosaur, which dinosaur would it be, and what would you name it?
I would like to have a Triceratops, and I would probably name it something goofy like Spike.
Teddy?
I think, I don't know. I would go for an Archaeopteryx, which is the first one I could think of. And I would call it Joey, as in Joey the Budgie.
John?
I'd have to be a raptor, a velociraptor, just because of the name. I actually got called by a fellow I played with. I used to be called the Raptor at first base.
What about you, Crafty?
Just said I'd have a dragon called Dave. Hashtag no dragons for Tusk. I'd either have a velociraptor called Flossie, or I would have I don't know. What else would I have?
I would want to have a dodo bird. I'd name it Pratt.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, dodo birds were, I would think, useful in some way because they were, functioning members of society of dodo birds, whereas Pratt is, well, Pratt.
Yeah, true.
I'd probably have a pterodactyl actually, just for the feeling of flying.
Ah, that's a
I'd love to
good
be able
one.
to fly.
That's a good one.
Yeah, and when they pee, it's silent as well, so you're not woke up in the middle of the night.
Wow. When I was a kid, I wanted a velociraptor, but my dad divided the raptor. Fuck's sake, Tusk.
Oh.
Yeah, that one lost me.
PhD Tony has informed us that
Pterodactyls
not
are
dinosaurs.
birds. Pterodactyls are birds, yes, and they're the prehistoric bird. So because they're prehistoric, they are considered by most as being in the realms of the dinosaurs. Birds are not dinosaurs. Actually, that's not exactly true because they have found that certain dinosaurs which were the precursors of birds, had like little hairs on the back, which is the same thing. It's the same material as the stalks of the feathers. So that's not exactly true, Tony. That's not exactly true.
Ooh.
A feather's actually just a more evolved and elaborate form of hair.
Yes, but there were studies done. Shut up, Tony. No, I'm joking. Dinosaur.
Gaming.
For years of chickens.
Dorian B. Gaming and Media says, I like blind dinosaurs. Do you think he saw us?
The big misconception is that alligators and crocodiles are leftover dinosaurs. They're not. They're not dinosaurs at all. They're reptiles.
They're reptiles, yeah. But the point of being lumped in with the term dinosaur is that they lived in that term. They're not actually physical dinosaurs, but they were around at the time of the dinosaurs. That's so.
In colloquial usage, they're a dinosaur. In
Yes.
paleontological circles or biological circles, incorrect. Yeah, technically they're not actually dinosaurs, but in colloquial usage, they are.
What's that you said? What's that you said?
Well, thank you, Cheesemondo. I appreciate that. You have yourself a great day on the road. And yeah, I'm having a good birthday. Thank you.
Hey, cheese. Tony might have to jump off to his own stream, which I'll probably jump into later and have a look at. But thank you for being here, Tony. Alligators are not dinos. No, they're not. They're not. They're reptilians. Which are a different. That's yeah. But they were around at the time of the dinosaurs. Or they're.
Is it genus?
Hmm?
Is it genus? I can't remember the order anymore. I know they're not. They're different species, and I think they're a different
Okay,
genus,
yes.
possibly even family.
Could be.
They are a different family.
Tusk. The haggis is a dinosaur. It's almost extinct, and the hills of Scotland ring with its plaintive and pathetic mating cries.
Oh, it's a haunting cry, the haggis mating cry, by the way. Oh.
Actually, Tusk will appreciate this. I used to have a mate that had a restaurant that opened up right next door to where I was living at the time. And I used to stir up the new waiters and waitresses that used to work there, and I used to ask them to go in and ask the chef if he had any of the vegetarian haggis left over. Now you take all the meat out of a haggis, and you end up with a bit of grain, boiled grain,
Yeah, barley.
and the chef used to he used to be quite a cantankerous sort of chef. And so that was the christening for the new waiters and new waitresses to ask him stupid questions.
Brilliant.
Yeah, that's because like
Brilliant.
vegetarian haggis is just barley.
Aye, porridge.
Tony's just being an asshole now. Birds are dinosaurs, just pterodactyls are not. Pterodactyls could fly. I don't care. For me, that makes them a bird, and they're also a dinosaur. Fuck off.
A flying dinosaur. Nearly set him off.
He's just trying
That's
to.
all right. Pterodactyls are cool, and they can sit at the cool table with the dinosaurs.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps we should invite PhD Tony on to discuss the matter.
Yes, Tony. Biatch. Do you want to come on? I know. Well, the Beardsmen are going live soon, but like, it's not like he hasn't missed that before.
Has PhD Tony ever been carbon dated? Do we know yet?
Hang on. I'll send him a link, and he can answer that directly for himself.
I'd like to ask him a few things about The Lord of the Rings, greatest novel ever
Oh
written.
God! Oh God! This is a bad idea. Tony, check Discord. You have the link. Oh, that'd be funny.
It would be.
He really hates Tolkien. And you know anything fun.
Well, to each their own. Who is your favorite author, Crafty?
It depends on the subject, really.
Just for natural, enjoyable reading. Just for novels.
Pratchett.
Yes.
Cool.
Pratchett would be mine.
How about you,
but then-
Teddy?
Yeah, it depends.
Sorry.
Pratchett every day of the week.
Whoop whoop.
Woo-hoo. How about you, John?
I've got two favourite authors I can't just pick between. Is David Brin and Larry Niven. David Brin wrote a great 6 books about Uplift, and he's one of the best alien writers out there. Alien races. Larry Niven, he wrote the Ringworld series and the Man Xin War series.
Mm-hmm.
So science fiction is pretty much my 99% of my reading. Always has been since I was about 14, 15 years old. I started on what was it? Robert Heinlein, a book called Star Beast. So if you've got any young people out there, that's a great book to start them off on.
Cool.
Cool.
Yeah, see, I don't read a lot of. Well, I used to. I used to read a lot of sci-fi and fantasy and stuff like that, but I don't anymore. It's mainly political stuff, and sociology stuff. So, like, if we're talking about serious stuff, as in like real world stuff, Naomi Klein. Oh, Naomi Klein is one of the best writers of the 21st century. Her book on the shock doctrine was just absolutely mind blowing. So that's probably my favorite. Okay.
No, at that point, I have to say I'm not very erudite in that respect. I like Terry Pratchett all the time.
Yes, Terry Pratchett is awesome.
I think the last non-fiction book I read was the Hitchens, God is Not Great. Which is a cracking read, by the way.
What Klein does is the shock doctrine was looking at how natural disasters and stuff like that can impact on the world of sociology. So, for instance, you have to have either a natural disaster or a coup d'état, for instance, in order to enact certain social orders. So she looked at what happened with Hurricane Katrina. Like in New Orleans before Hurricane Katrina hit, they had over 300 national schools, public schools. After Katrina, they had 3. They privatized the schools. They had charter schools. And that's why a lot of New Orleans children couldn't go to school, or they were in serious debt for sending their children to private schools. It was a huge scandal at the time. And then she looked at that and kind of compared it to what happened with Pinochet and other dictators in South America. So it was a really interesting look at just really what happened. But so yeah, she went on from that. She did a thing called No Logos, and she looked at brands and the difference between brand drugs, brand clothes, and everything else. Then she did This Changes Everything, which looks at climate change as a real issue, and she helped Mike Gonzalez with his book on the shortage of water. So she's done some fantastic, amazing stuff. So if you're looking for anything in realms of sociology, Naomi Klein is one of the top writers.
I could just about spell
it. Actually, that reminds me of something I found that started in 1961 also. Are you guys familiar with the psychology experiment? The first Milgram experiments were started on obedience to authority figures.
Oh, cool.
It was done by Yale University. It was a famous experiment where the experimenter orders a subject, so he's the subject or in the role of a teacher, and he's sitting sort of at a computer screen or at controls, and he's testing a student who's in another room, and if the student gets something wrong, the learner is ordered to electric shock him.
Yeah.
To push a button which gives an electric shock.
These.
And the electric shocks increase. Now, the learner's actually an actor and he's fake. So he's not actually receiving a shock. But they pre-recorded a whole bunch of, screaming and discomfort and all that. And it's to see how far they could push the actual subject of the test in administering pain to somebody who apparently was being, very painfully tortured.
Yeah, it was not a way of trying to explain the Holocaust or the mentality behind the Holocaust, and it failed.
That's right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
As to I was acting under orders.
Yes.
Was the old defence.
But they know supposedly the shocks they were administering were actually like twice the fatal dosage. They thought they were
Yeah,
administering they didn't realise.
that's right.
They just took all the empathy out of it, really, because someone had told them to do it.
Well, there was another experiment a couple of years ago where a group, I can't remember who it was that ran it, and what they did was they tried to reenact some of these studies and what they did was they tested people for their levels of empathy, and those with the most empathy went into one room, those with kind of mid-range went into another, and those with practically zero empathy went into another. And what they had to do these puzzles, and in it what was it, they got to put off an alarm in someone else's room to throw them off. And they were told that after 7, it would actually create hearing loss and serious damage. Even in the room with the less empathetic people, it never went higher than a 3. So when they actually tried to reenact these studies, it didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't work. And that's one of the things with a lot of these.
So
studies.
the subjects weren't actually, they were refusing to administer the...
Exactly. They thought that was just
pain.
throwing them off, but it wasn't actually happening. They were just told that it was happening. So you have to do your puzzle faster than the other 2 rooms, and you can throw them off with this beep kind of thing just to distract them. But when it gets above a 7, that's when real hearing loss and long-term damage can be impeded or implemented. So even in the room where they showed very, very little empathy in general, they didn't use it unless they needed to, or unless they felt under pressure to. And even with that, it never got above a 3. But what they weren't told was there was no alarm going off in the other 2 rooms.
Yeah.
They just thought there was.
I wonder how many of them have watched The Dark Knight.
I know.
That's probably aimed more at their own, at testing their own, in intentions or state of mind or how they think. I know with the Milgram experiments, the experiment was based upon how people's ability to follow orders and how far they would go following those orders. Yeah. This one you were just talking about seems to be a lot more not so much following orders, but what's in their character towards their fellows.
Yeah, well, I mean, the whole point of it was to see that if they could get away with it with no, like they weren't even told that it was going to be filmed. If they could get away with it without being told, like, without the other rooms knowing who was doing it, would they do it? Mm-hmm. If they knew that they were going to get away with it, if they knew that nothing was going to happen to them afterwards, without reprisals, without having to confront the people afterwards, would they actually inflict pain upon someone else? And the whole point of this redoing the experiment was to show how little prep work went into choosing the studies or choosing the people who would be involved in these studies, and how biased it was, and that you can't actually recreate something like the Holocaust, not on a scale of minimum of 50 or maximum of 50 people. You just can't do it.
Mm-hmm. Did in the original experiment, was it Grimmel, was it? The experiment? Milgram. Oh, it's close, man. Close. Milgram experiment, Grimmel, nearly. In the Milgram experiment, did the subjects try and sue as well, because they took part in the...
No, they didn't. They were actually misled in what they were being tested for. They thought they were actually testing somebody's learning capabilities or something. So they were given a cover story.
Yeah.
The actual subject who was supposedly being shocked.
When they found out the intent, did they know sue?
No, that was, I think it was the Stanford prison experiment people
Was that,
sued
is that a
and a
different
few
one?
others.
Ah,
Yeah.
cool. I'm getting confused
Yeah.
now. Not unusual.
Yeah.
Interesting. Very, very interesting.
Was it a prison? Was it? All I read was it was
No,
Stanford University.
Yes, Stanford University. Yeah, it was a prison experiment.
Sorry, not Stanford. Yale University. Sorry, it started. Sorry.
Yale was Milgram, wasn't it?
Yeah, Milgram. Yeah.
Yeah. But Stanford, the Stanford prison experiment was in 1971. So this was happening in around the same time. And
Okay.
yeah, it was Philip Zimbardo, who was kind of Professor Philip Zimbardo. And he was doing the same thing as what happened in the Milgram. He was trying to recreate the issue, the conditions of the Holocaust, and see how far he could push people. But people did snap, and there were serious consequences to that. And there's people that ended up in psychiatric facilities for the rest of their lives because of that, the Stanford prison experiment.
Mm-hmm.
And yet there were a few suings over it because it was run by the CIA. It was run by the Office of Naval Research.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Kind of a little bit of a scary thought, though. I mean, it makes you question the psychological stability of all those Air Force personnel that are sitting in missile silos right now with their hands near the button.
Well, they're humans, so I can't think any less of them.
Unfortunately, we are all human. I would like to hope that I would not do well in one of those scenarios. Like I'd avoid.
Mm-hmm. I mean, these are people that have to be willing to push that button, knowing that hundreds of thousands are going to die because of it.
Yep.
You know, and do it without thinking twice.
There was a great movie called Eye in the Sky.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking brilliant movie. Good few years ago now, and it was based on a true story where there was a high target person. I don't know. I think it was Pakistan, and a high valued ISIS target in Pakistan, and the people who had their hands on the button to be able to send out a drone and destroy the house refused to do it because on the other side of the street was a young child selling bread.
Mm-hmm.
And they just wouldn't
That's
do it.
right. I remember that movie. Yeah.
Brilliant movie.
It reminds me of the book and movie Ender's Game,
Yes.
where they
Yes.
found this kid. This kid had a talent for, war games, like computer war games, and they set him up through a training course with a whole team, and they were training to play these war games, and then on their final big test, they went through with it, and it turned out to be the real war. They didn't tell him it was the real war. They told him it only turned out to be, they thought it was just a test.
Yeah, the movie is not nearly as good as the book, but yeah, I remember that one.
Science fiction never transfers over into movies as well as the books. I can't think of one science fiction book that was ever turned into a good movie.
Yeah.
The movies are good in their own right, but if you've read the book, you're always disappointed.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You're never going to beat the writer's imagination, though.
No.
I remember that movie back in I think it was the early 80s, late 70s, early 80s, War Games.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was a great movie, and that really showed the deficiencies in the system.
Well, look at 2001: A Space Odyssey. Has everybody read that?
Yeah, oh yeah.
It's a fascinating book, great read, but the movie bored me to sleep. It really did. It was just so tedious.
Oh, it was.
Oh, no.
And long. Far longer than it needed to be.
Going back to War Games, I just like to point out it's not fucking tic-tac-toe, it's noughts and crosses, but that's it. Right, we'll move on then.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right, Sable Evil. That's a very, very good point. That's from the movie War Games. Strange game. The only winning move is not to play. That is so true.
Yeah. There was, I don't know if you'd ever read the reports on war when they originally did War of the Worlds on radio.
On the radio, yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah, that was
people were
fantastic, man.
people didn't know it was a series. It
Yep.
was fiction.
And some folks were out in the streets panicking, thinking the aliens had landed.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there was some misconception about all that too, and misreporting about it. The radio station actually encouraged people to ring in to the station, and assisted them in panicking phone calls to the station because they wanted to record the calls and they wanted that interaction.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just noticed in the chat, Rob Parks points out Starship Troopers was an awesome movie. It was a really great book. That's also a Robert Heinlein book. Again, did not transfer to movies very well, except that shower scene. That was brilliant.
Blade Runner was good. Blade Runner was good.
I'm surprised
The original-
to hear that about
Blade Runner was
encouraging
great.
folks.
Blade
to phone
Runner
in,
was-
'cause was the original known 1920s. Known in the 1920s, it fucking first ran on the radio. I wouldn't
Yeah.
imagine that phones were readily available for folks.
Do you know what was actually good? Do you know what was actually
It's an
good?
interesting one.
It wasn't. It's not the best known, but one book that I thoroughly enjoyed reading that actually did translate as a kind of decent movie was The Children of Men. Don't know if any of you have ever read it or seen it.
No.
The whole point of it is that the human race has become infertile, and now the last child born to civilization has just died, and the whole place is in a frenzy. But in the midst of it, like it's set in England, and like with Brexit, they're all fucking batshit crazy about sending migrants home, and migrants are in cages and everything else. It's a horrible scene, but there's a woman who has become pregnant, and she is a migrant, and so now they have to try and get her to a rescue ship before she's actually forced into a cage and probably killed. It's actually really good, but the movie did a kind of a decent job of it. It's one of the few that I've actually read the book and saw the movie and thought, yeah, that's a good adaptation.
And I stand corrected. It was 1938. The War of the Worlds was shown. So yeah.
That's H.G. Wells.
Yep.
But no, I never read the Children of Men.
Children of Men is good.
Yeah. Yeah, H.G. Wells was a great writer.
That being said, Jurassic Park was a fucking good one. The original Jurassic Park was incredible. If none of you have ever read the book, you definitely should.
I don't need
It was a good book. It was also the first computer game I ever started playing.
Yes.
I was excellent at it.
Yeah.
Tusk, be nice. Be nice.
What's he up to?
He's being an asshole, basically. He didn't like Children of Men. Children of Men was brilliant.
Well, I must admit, I've quite enjoyed the latest Imagining the Westworld. Now that Tuss mentioned that in the chat.
Westworld with dinosaurs.
Jeez.
Oh man.
Oh man. Well, that was an interesting discussion.
Yeah, you never know what's going to be spoke about here.
Well, there you go.
Well, Jeff, would you like to know what happened on the around about the time you were born?
Sure, go ahead.
The wheel was invented.
Okay.
You
may have
My secrets.
you may have been the 14 millionth baby. Sorry, the 4 billionth baby born. It was estimated that 4 billion people, the population of the world became 4 billion during 1961. Just a couple of weeks after you were born, Gus Grissom. What does it say here? Oh yeah, it was he was the second man to go into space. Let me see. He became the second American to go into space on a Mercury Redstone 4 rocket. That was about 3 months after Yuri Gagarin was the first man in space. It all happened around that time. Right at the start of the year, the Americans put a monkey in space. Ernest Hemingway gave himself the forever sleep. Let me see. In a secret meeting with Soviet nuclear scientists, Nikita Khrushchev announced his decision to resume nuclear testing, ending a moratorium with the US that had started in 1958. He gave the go-ahead for a test on a 100 megaton hydrogen bomb. They only ended up exploding a 50 megaton bomb, but still.
Yeah.
NASA launched the Tiros 3 satellite. That was the first to photograph storms during the 1961 Atlantic hurricane season, and they started pushing for satellites, spy satellites, and observation and observational satellites. So they wanted to sort of make a business of it. The first scheduled in-flight movie service began on a TWA first-class flight.
Woohoo!
Using an IBM 7090 computer, pi was calculated to 100,000 digits for the first time.
Nice.
Now, also with IBM, the IBM Selectric typewriter was put on the market. That was the one that featured the type ball or a golf ball. Now, you young people in the chat will probably have to Google typewriter.
Yeah, I remember those.
Yeah, I have no idea what they are. No idea.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
Do you know what was funny? I used to work in an office, right? I used to be an office manager, and in the office manager, in the office there was a guy in his 60s and a guy who was in his like 20s, 30s. And it was hilarious. Before, like, well, neither of them really did well on keyboards. But it was just funny watching the guy in his 60s because he would use both of his index fingers and just like tap, 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 tap on the keyboard. And he was quite proficient. He was quite fast when he was doing it. And then using the other guy, and he was like, again with his index fingers going tap, 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 tap. And he just couldn't. He was not fast at all when it came to typing. But it was just interesting to see that kind of lingering thing with the guy in his 60s because he had been used to using a typewriter his whole life. That he was so fast with his index fingers.
I learned to touch type using all 10 fingers on my on a mechanical typewriter, and that sort of really held me in good stead for later typing on a keyboard.
Yeah, he was not good at that at all. He just used his index fingers, and that was it.
Hunt and pecking, they call it.
Interesting.
That ties in with something else later. Shortly after Jeff's 8th birthday, Buzz Aldrin became the second man to walk on the moon. And this is interesting. After a letter to the editor by young Jeff, on July 17th, the New York Times published one of its most famous retractions in history. And this is relevant to all you debunkers out there too. The Times had, in 1920, commented on Robert H. Goddard, the rocket pioneer, that he didn't know that the rockets needed something better than a vacuum against which to react. The day after the Apollo 11 launch, the Times commented in their retraction, "It is now definitely established that a rocket can function in a vacuum as in an atmosphere."
Whoop, whoop.
The Times failed to acknowledge Jeff's prompting, which he had hand-typed on an IBM Selectric. Let me see, what else happened in 1961. There was some scientific and physics discoveries. Well, the only physics discovery that was really mentioned was the discovery of the chemical element lawrencium. Element number 13 was first synthesized at Berkeley, California. Also, the Russians set off the largest weapon by yield, the 50 megaton bomb called the Tsar Bomba. We did the psychology, technology. Philips publicly introduced the compact audio cassette tape. Remember those?
Yes, I do.
Yay! I loved cassette tapes. They were awesome.
Absolutely. Philips is also the inventor of the CD,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
which comes directly from NASA's research on long distance communication with the moon mission, because they could not use analog because it wasn't very clear. So they used what I think they used PCM audio, or pulse code modulation, which is digital audio, and that was then developed as a means of recording not only voice but music, and hence the CD player.
Well, Rob Park says the only thing important that happened on my birthday was that Leonard Nimoy was born many years before me.
Oh man! All right.
Nobel
Well,
Prizes in that year were for physics was Robert Hofstadter and Rudolf Ludwig Mossbauer. So Hofstadter was awarded for the recoilless nuclear resonance fluorescence. And he... Oh, sorry, no. Hofstadter was the electron scattering in atomic nuclei and consequent discoveries concerning structure of nucleons.
mhm.
Mossbauer was the recoilless nuclear resonance fluorescence, which I have no idea what it is, but it resulted
no
in the
idea what any of
Mossbauer
that means.
effect.
Well,
It was significant.
it's that time.
It was
And with,
it was a
with
Nobel
that,
Prize, wasn't it?
with that, we move on to another significant event. You know what to do, folks. Spot that goat.
Spot the goat.
Bugger. Where are you? Here, goaty.
And what's funny, Paddy, you're the one that designed that goat. You should be able to find it.
That's a pretty complex screen to find it in.
Well, you know, can't make it too easy. Holy! Don't
And we
tell
have
me-
we have a few people that are guessing.
Yes, and I think one of them's pretty well got it.
Don't
Already.
tell them which. Don't tell them which. No, are you sure that they have it? Be specific, people. Be specific. If you know where it is, be specific.
Well, he's pretty close to the actual location. You just gotta.
Etty is staring at the screen. Not too close, you'll ruin your eyes. In the tree.
Turn your eyes. Claire.
Specific, Daryl. Specific. In the big
The
tree.
big tree, yeah.
Green one.
The
One of
green one.
those.
I want specifics, damn it. It's a trap. The role of the goat is now played by Crafty Keela.
Shh.
Thanks, Gregory.
The branch above the right hand side of the board. Oh, cool.
I think the first time we did this, my guess was wearing a suit, and the two goats were wearing a suit and a black dress. You guys were not amused.
Well,
That wasn't me.
well,
My hands are above the
and
desk.
then for real specifics, or maybe that's the first.
Or maybe that's a fault.
well, yeah, okay.
I think both of them got it.
Yeah, I think it's a tie between Rob Parks and Sable Eagle.
Yay!
Yay! There she be, folks. There is the goat.
Oh,
Teddy
sweet
goat.
Jesus.
Meh, meh,
Yeah, the
meh.
teddy goat.
Teddy goat.
And I see Demon Orb just like peeking in there. So Rob and Sable, can you email me, both of you? I will make sure that I get the next week. I'll have the thingy about half an hour before we start. I can't even form words. Where is my words gone? Email me so I don't have to go looking for your email addresses. Or message me on Discord. I know where Rob Parks is.
That's a
I can
bug.
find Rob. But yeah, message me so I don't have to go rooting for your email address.
Get through your words out with the old deep fryer oil.
Yeah. This is what being sick does. Makes your head all fuzzy. So you can't form
Oh,
sentences.
fuzzy. That's right. That's right. Okay, so what else are we going to talk about? We still have 27 minutes left in the show, and I don't
It
want to
is-
stop.
Yeah, it is your birthday, so anything you want to talk
Yeah.
about.
Well, okay. Geez, now you put me on the spot. All right, here's one. A little bit of a trivia question. Can anybody tell me what does my name mean?
What is what?
What does Jeffrey mean? And don't Google. Try and think
How
of
do you
it on
spell your name?
JEFFRE.
Is it with a... Oh, it is with a J. Okay, not GER. That's funny.
No.
Anglican sort of
Yeah.
words.
Not the proper way, no.
The American.
Oh, I can't help it.
Yes,
Yeah,
Australia's very English influenced, unfortunately.
But I'm
Keep
mine
your
is the
goats. Oh, I like it, Rob. I like it.
I am definitely not good when it comes to names and where they come from and why. But is it something that we're going to laugh at? Because I think it is.
Well, are we talking about your screen name or your real name?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Rob. Rob has emailed me.
Streamer of reason.
Jeffrey, streamer of reason.
You know, I've always thought Steaming Cup of Reason is an absolutely great name. It really
Yeah.
is a good one.
It certainly was original. I couldn't think of anything original until finally it dawned on me that the one thing that flat earthers lack is the ability to think with any kind of critical reasoning.
Yeah.
And when you're sick, your mom always makes you a steaming cup of tea or a steaming cup of soup. So I just put the two together, steaming cup of reason.
Mm.
And
Your
it's
pal
stuck.
Al is in the chat.
Ooh, hello, your pal Al.
Darrow Frost is probably something related to trade.
Nope.
Progressive.
Wait, what? Roy, and Roy is
Roy.
king.
King. Yes,
So king
Roy.
of Satsumas?
Nope. Progressor of fame.
Rob Parts wins his
No.
fame. Oh, wrong one.
Oh,
King of the
geez, yeah.
Jaffas, no.
King of the Jaffas. Yeah, no, I'm not. Keeper of Zippy, George, and Bungle.
Oh, yes.
Teddy, is that Jafar's or Jaffa's?
Jaffa. Wait, Jaffa cakes.
Gotta love the Jaffas.
Okay. Not a Stargate reference then.
Oh, no. Oh, no. No, never watched it. I am a complete
The sort of bad guys come good guys were the Jafars. Pretty much spelt the same way, but in Australia, Jaffa was an orange lolly.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
Man.
Yes, and
Hard coated orange candy outside of chocolate. Beautiful.
My Jaffa cake's similar.
Jaffa cake is amazing.
Except it's not a lolly.
Nope.
Oh, God, I know. Mine's rainbow, though.
You're gonna have to tell people because this will go on for another 2 hours.
Well, that's the whole point. We got 27 minutes to go.
Let's think now. So,
Hasn't anybody Googled it?
it's got to be Anglican.
I mentioned in the pre-show that I was actually going to come on and do a whole series of references to Jeff over history, but that got a little complicated. So I ended up getting fascinated by what was going on in 1961.
Yeah, how's about? Is Geoffrey a corruption of Godfrey?
It could be. There is some argument about that, but yes, there are people who believe it is. I don't agree.
I've got no idea what Godfrey means either, but
I do believe that it stands on its own. I don't
cool.
think.
Geoffrey.
And if people want to just really quickly,
Godfrey was the mad scientist's assistant in the English version of Igor, wasn't it?
Well, if people want to send Stephen Cooper Reason a birthday pint, you don't have to, but if you want to and if you can, here's the link.
Yeah.
Again, just like
Yeah.
get him drunk. It'll be funny.
Actually, believe it or not, folks,
You're on the wagon, aren't you?
the meaning of the name Jeffrey means it has two possible meanings. There's argument as to which is more accurate, but the first is God's peace, and the second is gift of God, and there's also a third called heavenly peace. But those are the main definitions you'll find when you go on Google.
Yeah, we need to
So
get
what
him
happened?
drunk now.
What happened?
I don't know, man. Somehow down the line it got all screwed up, and I ended up with it. Just some interesting name trivia.
Yeah. Oh, Geoffrey.
Well, I'm not going to tell. Some people know my name, but I'm not going to tell people my name. But my name came from a poem originally.
And it has a very similar meaning to mine.
Gilgamesh.
My name is also a type of butterfly, apparently.
Yeah, the Gilgamesh butterfly.
Yeah. Big overhanging moth. That's what it is. No,
I believe John was the awesome one, wasn't he? Wasn't it?
I don't have a clue, to be quite honest with you.
I've never looked up the origin of John. I can't even remember it.
Johann. I'll be That's
It's funny, John's not a popular name anymore.
I think it's gift of God.
I taught junior baseball, like the entry level baseball to the kids, and I was looking down the lists over the years, and I think over 5 seasons, something like 120 kids, not one John.
Oof.
The name John is primarily a male name of Hebrew origin that means God is gracious.
God,
There you go.
There you
Oh, well.
go. You on. Minute. And,
Well, that missed me, didn't it?
A little bit. Aren't you happy, though? Aren't you happy?
So it's an imaginary name.
A John is also a U.S. informal way of saying toilet or bathroom.
Yes,
That's
okay.
So there you go. That's closer.
Along
Yeah,
with
so
head, throne,
Yeah.
porcelain altar.
Ooh, sable eagle. We know the etymology of Keela's name, originally a pet form of Cynthia from Mount Canada's, and less often of Lucinda, light. Interesting.
Ooh.
There you go.
Light, so
It-
that's...
The reason why I picked Keela is because it's the closest way of saying killer in a female form.
No, I think I like Lucinda, because that's coming close to Lucifer, and that's getting close to your character.
That is true. That is true.
Rob Parks says my first name James means wise ruler, or at least that is what I'm going with.
Doreen, my name means if you hate your kids and want them bullied.
Yeah. So everyone, I'd like to see your comments on what you think Taddy Bogle means.
Really?
Oh, I know.
Well, in general,
when I first saw
or
Taddy on the scene, I asked him and he told me. So I won't give it away. Let's see what they come up with.
I'm not too sure if they actually mean what does Tatty Bogle mean or what do I mean in general anytime I speak.
Why did here's a question. Why did you choose Tatty Bogle?
Yes, Rob Parks, crafty is the light from Mount Kintos.
It was Scottish, that's the only reason I chose it.
Yeah, but I mean, okay, I'm not going to give it away because if you want people saying it in the comments, but of
Critical
all things,
Drunk Scott.
do you not know what a Tatty Bogle is, Jeff?
I do. I just want to see if anybody else out there can figure it out.
And no, it doesn't have anything to do with potatoes.
Drunk Scotsman.
Ah, yeah.
That's what it's come to mean. That's what it has come to mean.
I'm not drunk, I'm merely pissed.
There's a difference.
He's definitely not drunk because if he was drunk, he'd be saying pished instead of pissed.
That's right.
That's how you know. That's how you know, folks.
That's right.
He gets
When he
more
says
Scottish. He gets more Scottish the drunker he is. It's really funny.
Yeah. When he says he's pissed, what he's actually saying is, I'm just getting started, mate.
Where's my next beer? Oh, God.
I remember you a few times on another channel being quite drunk and totally
Yes.
not understandable. The funniest thing was reading the closed captions.
Oh, God.
Oh, it was
Google
just-
hates me, man.
It really couldn't handle you at all.
Oh.
Rob Parks asks, is it a frayed kilt?
Ooh.
I'm liking.
Ooh, your pal Al says Ireland and US are in Pool C for rugby sevens in the Olympics. Nice. Yeah, USA are going to get creamed.
Yep.
Whoop, whoop. Yeah.
Demon Orb has the answer.
Rugby, that's that game where they run forward and throw the ball backwards, isn't it?
It's what the USA tried to create in football, but failed epically,
It's,
completely.
Rugby is a game
One
played by
bloke
men
pushing
with
two blokes
odd-shaped
up
balls.
three blokes.
Yeah, it's a bunch of footballers who
You,
decided.
you know, the game that the Aussies continuously lose.
So the strategy is to run forward, and when somebody comes at you, you throw the ball away.
Well, it's basically the same as American football. It's a bunch of
No.
guys who
You're
decided
not
all the equipment was for pussies.
Wait, when someone comes
Okay,
at
so-
you, when someone comes at you, you fucking protect the ball. You don't throw it away. You take the hit.
Here's the
You take the hit.
and here's the idiosyncrasy behind football intelligence. In rugby, they call it a try, and you have to put the ball down. In gridiron, in US football, they call it a touchdown, but you don't have to you don't have to touch the ball down.
Yeah. See,
They've both got it backwards.
Yeah.
pretty much. But then again,
US football should call it a try, and rugby should call it a touchdown. There you go. Just swap the name over, guys, and you'll get it right.
There's one. Taddy is vampire and Bogle is banjo. You like that, Tusk? Vampire banjo? What do you think?
Oh, he's never going to step down. Not ever.
Brilliant.
Hashtag vampire banjos for Tusk.
Yes. Hashtag no dragons for Tusk.
No, I think Dave's definitely get the closest so far.
Well, Taddy, would you like to enlighten us, or you want to keep going?
No, certainly. Yeah, Tatty Bogle is a Scottish word for, or an old Scottish word for a scarecrow.
There you go. And he looks like one too. Trust me.
Is that
Especially with
because
the
I've got
hobo
loads
beard.
of birds in my? And that's because I've got loads of birds in my arms.
Oh, with the hobo beard, definitely.
I never see many people ask you about your name. It was the
Yeah.
first thing I did when I saw you in chat once.
That's it. No, Bogle's an old spirit or ghost.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Don't tell JL that. He'll think they're real.
Chip.
Well, he knows I'm real. Mwahahaha.
Yeah, see, 9 o'clock hero just came out with it. Scarecrow.
Scarecrow.
Boom.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Well, you know.
Sable Eagle says, how to win at rugby. Be 8 feet tall and 4 feet wide at the shoulders and weigh 400 pounds. Pretty much. Although, having said that, like, you really need to be able to move.
Yeah.
Like, you really need to be fast when it comes to rugby. Not so much when it comes to fucking to American football, but you really need to be able to move fast in rugby.
I always found that the bigger guys when you were playing rugby were easier to tackle.
Yeah.
And they were when they went down, if you hit them right, they were more likely to go off injured. But you had to hit them right.
Well, Crafty, you'd agree with me that Aussie rules is probably one of the better footballs. It's just like Irish football.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So AFL, I'm prejudiced because I played it for 12 years when I was young. They were training me up for first grade at the time, and then I got injured out. But the best thing about Aussie rules, I mean, the whole strategy of the game of football is you take the ball from where you are to the far end of the field. And what's the most economical, best way to do that? Give it a good boot. And in Aussie rules, you even get a point for missing.
Yep.
See, I don't know. That
Aussie rules is fucking brutal, man. I like it. It's good.
it is brutal. It's proper.
It's fast.
It's proper brutal, man. It's good shit, man.
The pace of it, you really have to know what you're doing to be able to to keep up.
You want to watch a really brutal game? Watch the Aussies versus the Gaelic footballers.
Yes.
They have modified rules. Oh, that's a blood fest. It's just a manic fun game to watch. Oh yeah, look it up. It's really bizarre, and it's and those are hard blokes, I tell you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All the Aussie rulers and Gaelic footballers, they look like skinny versions of rugby players. But the thing you don't take into account is that they're probably on average 6 to 12 inches taller than rugby players.
Mm-hmm. It's incredible. It's incredible watching these shows, these matches, because it really, again, it's so high paced. You really need to know what you're doing in these games to be able to even be able to keep up.
Well, I was a ruckman and I could get up high, but because I was a really wiry, thin fellow, they actually, when they were training me up for first grade, they actually were trying to put weight on me. They put me in a gym 3 nights a week on a weight gaining program.
Yeah,
it never worked. I never got heavy enough because I was at a disadvantage because I just didn't have the bulk. I was bouncing off the big fellas that I was jumping up against, and I wasn't effective enough anymore.
I love the way they start the match as well, man. Bouncing the way they bounce the ball. The ref does it with his leg out. I love that, man.
Yeah.
I just think that looks funny as fuck, man. It's brilliant.
Well, a weird thing. I went for a walk the other day, yesterday actually, and there was a Gaelic match on in the local park. So, yay!
Cool.
I do like to watch the shinty hurling crossover games that they do. They do that every year. They whoever wins the Camanachd Cup for the shinty plays whoever wins the.
Hang on, if anyone
hurling
wants
thing.
to see the Aussies getting absolutely creamed, as they do always when they come up against the Irish, there you go. That was from. I just put the link in the chat there. It was from 2015.
I take it we lost.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did, and you lost bad.
Oh, okay.
Well, you didn't. You pulled it back. I think I can't.
I'm not surprised. Gaelic football is just brutal. It really is a hard man's sport.
Like at one stage,
Compared
it was like 50-29.
Tusk is a character. Rugby is a game played by men with odd-shaped balls. Oh, funny guy. Well, we've got about 6 minutes left. So with that, what have you got coming up, Crafty? Anything interesting?
I'm still trying to do the challenging conspiracies. I will be coming back for Ion Society soon. I'm not sure when. It's just with the chest infection. I came down with a chest infection there last week, and I'm just seeing the end of it now. So, yeah, I will be back soon. If not, I will be back on my channel next week, with Life on the Flip Side, and maybe with an update on Keela Talks, because there's been some updates with some old episodes that I've done, so I might give a little bit of an update of stuff. Who knows?
Looking forward to the conspiracies thing. It's always struck me of what I've always thought, what makes flat earthers and conspiracists and space deniers and moon landing deniers, what makes them tick? Why do they actually think these things, and what motivates them? Some of them are really, really stupid. You can tell. They're just ignorant and dumb. But there's a lot of people out there that you can tell that they're not stupid. They're somewhat intelligent. They just have no reasoning skills, and they just jump on the bandwagon, or I don't know what it is. But the psychological motivation behind the conspiracists has always fascinated me.
Absolutely. Well, I'm trying to get back into them. It's just really hard at the moment doing 10-hour shifts, because it's just been, and again with the chest infection, it's just like thrown me through a loop. So I am hoping to get them out regularly. But we'll see.
Yeah,
Can
absolutely.
we quote you in that? You're hoping to get them out regularly. Good.
No. Fuck off.
Cool. And as for myself, what can I say? I don't really have much happening except for, of course, the next Pain of Progress coming up this coming Friday. We'll be looking at the history of the computer. So that should be
Yay.
an interesting one. Yeah, it's the second to last episode of Series 1. So, yeah, the last two premieres before we head on to Series 2. So that should be interesting.
Awesome.
Sounds a lot different than sounds a lot different and sort of off track from what did the Romans ever give us?
Yeah. Well, they probably have a lot more to do with the involvement of computers in general if you think about far back enough in history. So.
The only thing the Romans gave us is traffic.
And roundabouts. I hate roundabouts.
After season 1, it's just going to be direct upload. So this is the second last premiere. So if you want to come in and have a chat with us and have a bit of a buzz, that is the time to do it. But that's the second last premiere that we're going to be doing until the new series.
Absolutely. So we might do something in between the two. I don't know. Haven't decided yet, but
I do want to make an appeal to people. Please keep watching them because put down comments. Like the videos because it does help with the algorithm, and we do want before season 5 that we wanted to hit the algorithm. So, help us do that.
And don't forget, folks, the Pain of Progress does have a Discord server. So by all means, jump in, get some discussion going on your favorite topics in history. I'll reply to as many of them as I possibly can. I'd like to get some action going there and build some interest in history. Let's see how far we can go with it. So yeah, please do drop in. That would be awesome.
Yay.
So with that, I just want to say,
quite painless, people. It's very painless. They're good to you.
Yeah, absolutely. So with that, before I say goodbye, I do want to put out one request to our good friend Tusk.
Oh God.
I do enjoy your cooking videos. I really do. Honest to God, I'm not joking.
Yes.
And I really enjoyed your video that you did on nasi goreng. There's another dish from Indonesia, very similar, that my mom used to make, and I don't have a recipe for it. It's called bame goreng. If you could find a recipe for that and do a video on that, I would really love it. So, and with that out of the way,
All right. Hold on for 1 second. Limit. I'm just gonna generate this and put it here. And so that is the Discord link to the Pain of Progress server.
awesome. Thank you very much, Crafty. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. So with that, I just want to say thank you to everyone out there for coming out and helping me make this birthday episode so much fun.
And happy birthday!
Happy birthday.
Thank you. And special
Happy birthday, Jeff.
Thank you.
That.
Special thanks to John Rapp and Taddy for joining us on the show today. And Crafty, thank you so much. This was a great idea. So with that, thank you very much, everybody, and have a good week. See you next week on Crafty's channel. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Night, everybody.
Later, troops.